Dear Recruiters here, your life applications officer. Hold on. Before I do that, let's see if I can get this to come down. I can't. Yeah, hopefully won't nothing interrupt. I'll have to do it over again. I didn't turn off all my notifications. But anyway, Dear Recruiters here, again, your life applications officer. I haven't done a video in a while. I've been tired, I've been busy, I've been doing some other things, working on my business. I'm getting ready to start me a business. And I'm not going to brag about it until I get my first check. Until I start making a little bit of money from it. Right now, I'm just investing in building things, building it up, trying to work on my image so I can sell my product, and collect my clients and customers. But when I start making some money on my other channel, one of my other channels, I'll be bragging about that. And also trying to evangelize people into the business, because it's one of the best ever. I'm very confident about it. That's another channel and different whole series of different videos. But anyway, this is going to be the most controversial thing I've said on this channel. Now, there's people on this channel who really, really get ticked off and think that I need to be shot for some of the things that I say. But I'm going to be very, very, very honest with you right now, right here, right now. And I'm going to tell you something, and I want you, especially if you're black, if your skin color is like mine, I want you to really think hard about it and look into your soul, look into your spirit, look into your mindset, and figure out, find your place. Because you don't need to be, nobody needs to be in the black community. I am not a member of the black community. And all this time, I've been arguing back and forth with black people. This election, Donald Trump has really opened my eyes about what's wrong with black folks. When black folks jumped on this idea that Trump is the war that we're fighting, that the Republican Party put him in there and this is the war we're fighting, and there's oh my God, the age groups that I'm having these debates with. And this lady today, she tries to be a good old nice lady, but yet there's one thing that she hates about me. There's one thing that she hates about me. And that's that I'm not in the black community. And I noticed that about her. She likes black people that are problematic. When you come around her and you're serious, and I noticed this about people that are like coming after me about this whole, Trump thing, because they're not really coming after me because they think that I'm an idiot. They're not really coming after me because of something that Trump is doing that doesn't benefit me. They're coming after me because of the simple religion of it all. They're coming after me because they have this idea that you got to always worry about the color codes in everything. Give you an example. Yesterday, Friday, yes. Was it yesterday? Thursday. Yeah, because the other Democratic liberal lady, she comes on Fridays and Saturdays. And she'll tell me, let's not talk about politics. You're right, we shouldn't be talking about politics on the job. But then she'll turn around, she can't resist. Because it does not matter how well I do my job and what we get along about. Like me and this lady, we get along about everything as far as like the job. You know, the problems with the job, the good things about the job. You know, COVID-19 issues. We're fine, me and this old lady. But she's sitting there and she's like, so did you vote for Biden? You know what they said about Trump. Did you hear? Okay, here we go. And you know you don't care. And this is the thing about whether you vote Republican or Democrat. The president of the United States, when he's a Republican, he's our president. When he's a Democrat, he's their president. To me, it doesn't matter whether the president is black, white, whatever race he was or is. It doesn't matter to me whether his son or his daughter had a problem in the past or whatever. Even Joe Biden, I really don't care about his past. A lot of Republicans trying to use Joe Biden's past against him. Well, I agree with you. If you're going to use Joe Biden's past against him, there's some things about Donald Trump you're going to have to use against him. But what's that have to do with the presidency? But this is why I'm reminded today to tell you that I'm not in the black community. Please don't put me in that community. This black man, just this past Thursday, he gets loud and he gets very, 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 very he cuts people off. He says things that have nothing to do, like, well, you know, the election, okay, post office equipment. Okay, let me tell you something. Donald Trump does not believe, and I don't believe because I get it in the mail every day. I don't believe that these mail-in ballots are legit. And Donald Trump doesn't believe they're legit. And I heard something on TV today while I was at work eating my lunch. And on the news, this lady, they did a Joe Biden, vote for Joe Biden video. And the video said this, that if you don't get to vote on November 3rd, if you don't get to vote when the polls are closed, you can still vote. Since when? When did this start? You get to vote one day, November 3rd. That's it. And the polls will be open regular hours like they've been over the years, even though we're going through COVID. They made a decision in most cities, not all of them, but most of them, for those that want to, have the polls. They set it up to where we got to practice our social distancing and wear a mask and all that stuff. So we're going to do it. And this is the way Trump wants it. And I'm glad I live in this uppity-up neighborhood because, you know, they sent me a courtesy letter. They knew I was a Republican, and they said, hey, you know, you know, they let me know where I got to go to vote and all like that, and I don't have to do the mail-in vote. I can come up there and vote at the polls, and I'm glad, you know, because I don't trust these mail-in votes. Really don't. I believe, like Trump already said, and other people said, they're finding them in garbage cans. And how the heck am I getting this mail every day? And they send me a letter where I can do a mail-in vote, and they come from all these different addresses, and they send them to me every day. All right? And I just ignore them, throw them in the trash. I want to vote at the polls, and thank God I called the gymnasium up here at the high school yesterday, and they are ready to accept me on November 3rd. So you can keep your mail-in voting. I don't trust it. But anyway, Trump doing that, if he doesn't trust the mail-in votes, that's his prerogative. Okay? But the point is, this guy that I was talking to Thursday, we couldn't talk. I stopped talking to him face to face because he cuts people off too much. He don't let you finish, and the stuff that he talks about has nothing to do with the topic. Donald Trump is free to be a regular person and be a president at the same time. He's free to do what I do or do what this man over here does. You know what I mean? He's free to, you know, and he's free to do whatever he wants to do within the limits of the law. There's laws to being a president. There's no law that says you can't communicate with Russia. There's no law that says you can't have a private phone call with Russia as long as there's one person in the room. Okay? But they come at you, you know what I'm saying? Like, they come at you with all this stuff. You know, the whole impeachment thing was a waste of time. Because there was nothing that he did that he wasn't allowed to do. Even if he was having private phone calls with Russia, what law says he can't do that? And if Russia is able to touch the election at all, then that means it's legal. Or else they won't be able to touch it. Oh, well, Russia, tamper with the election. What? Okay. Bite me. Anyway, the point is, let me get to it. After listening to this guy, he started texting my phone once I told him I don't want to talk to you. Okay? Because you're loud, you don't listen, you cut people off. So he started texting my phone. And I'm okay. I gave him my number not to text me about politics. I gave him my number. Somebody else gave him my number, which I didn't appreciate that, but I said, okay. He can, but now he wants to text me all the time. Okay? Typical black man. Always wanting to text a brother. Okay? And talk trash. Next thing you know, you doing a drive-by, because he won't answer his phone or something. And I'm not answering my phone when I'm off work. I don't want to talk to you when I'm off work. But he's not the only one. But thank God the people that ain't with us no more, at least they know to stop texting me now that they ain't with us no more. But when he was texting me, we was going back and forth for a little while. And I was like shooting down everything that he was saying, because now I can do that because we're texting. So he'd give me this quick text. And now I'm the one that's long-winded. I'm giving him this long text. And once he seen that I kept shooting down everything that he was throwing at me, because it has nothing to do with whether Donald Trump is legit or not. It has nothing to do with the presidency. Okay? If Donald Trump is trying to get the post office to participate in the polls or whatever, okay, if he's the president of the United States, okay, if he wants to control the post office to make the election a more safer, more secure time in history, in this particular history right here, okay, then he can do that as long as everybody is on target with it. He can do that as long as everybody is aware and agrees. It doesn't matter if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so they shot it down. It was shot down by some general or whatever he was talking about. Okay, that's not stopping anybody from voting. That doesn't make him a bad president. That does, you know what I'm saying? He just comes with this stuff. All right, and then this is where he seems to forget that I'm not a member of the black community. He started just coming at me, and the text messages got long. He went all the way back to Rodney King. He went all the way back to Emmett Till. What the hell does this have to do with the presidency? Let me tell you something. Now I'm getting to it. Let me tell you something. I got bad news for you. There is no party for black people. Stop. The Democratic Party is not your party. It's an American party. It's a party for liberals. It's a party for people who want to go up against, who want to change the Constitution, who want to, squeeze legislation in there for their own depravity. Okay, when you get right down to it. Okay? The Democratic Party is not the party for black people. And the Republican Party is not the party for black people either, although the Republican Party, now, the grandson of Martin Luther King Jr. decided to go south on the Republican Party and deny that Martin Luther King Jr. was a Republican. And when I read the article, people that wanted to put Martin Luther King into this whole idea of, helping us figure out politics and whatnot, they called Martin Luther King Jr. a Republican. And the article, the whole article points to Martin Luther King being a Republican. Okay? But black folks will deny that, and for some reason, they think that the party switch, that the Democratic Party is the party for black people. But I read this history today, when I was reading about Martin Luther King, that the Republican Party was started by black people. The Republican Party was actually the party for civil rights in the beginning of it. There were more black people back in the day in the Republican Party than there is now. Now people say the party switch. And there's another thing, that's another reason why I can't do this black community thing. I really can't. Because the black community, what is the black community? The black community is the people that all look alike. They're the same race. And they think alike. They have the same mindset. They have the same depression. And they're all victims of systematic racism. And even Donald Trump gets on this bandwagon, that's one thing I disagree with him about, gets on this bandwagon where he's going to do something to go down to the crib and hand bottles and pacifiers out to these little brown babies. And I'm sick of it. I'm tired of that word, black community. I'm tired of people thinking that they need to baby blacks, but they don't need to baby Asians. They don't need to baby Indians. Of course, depending on what city and state and country you come from, there's always a race that's being babied. Certain places, Asians are being babied. Okay, certain places, Indians are being babied. Like for example, Europe. The Arab, race and the Indian race. Middle Eastern people are constantly being babied. They're constantly being pampered in Europe while they do the same things blacks are doing here. Rioting and raping and looting and blowing stuff up. They're getting babied. More pampers. Every time they blow something up, every time they rape somebody. Oh, more bottles, more pampers, more, And this is the thing. I really believe that if the Native Americans, okay, if it was proper for the Native Americans to keep all this land that we call America now to themselves, if that's what they're fighting for. They might not be fighting for 50 states, but, they might have been, fighting for, the mountain. I don't know. But if the Native Americans were worthy of 50 states, worthy of all this territory that we call the United States, if they were worthy enough to have this to themselves and be the sovereignty and the seniority here, okay, why are they on reservations instead of building cities? Why are they on reservations playing victim? Same thing with black people. Same thing with Indians coming into this country. Now, Indians coming into this country, the majority of them become doctors, scientists. They become computer wizards. And they're making darn good money for it. And they're owning banks and they're loaded. But then there's a flip side of them that is just totally ghetto. They make black people look innocent. They make black people look like white people. Okay? When you get enough of the Muslim Brotherhood or Islamabad or whatever running around here trying to tell us how to run our country. You know what I'm saying? Black people will be ready to run back to the ghetto and lock themselves in. They ain't going to be out on the street rioting with no Indians and no Arabs, okay? Because they really get crazy with it, all right? You want to see black people uh, step away from rioting and loitering and all that kind of stuff. Bring that crap that's going on in Europe over here. Okay? But all my life, black people have disappointed me. And I remember when I was a young kid, I had a white friend that came to me because he became a Christian. And we met in a racist town right here in Pennsylvania, still kind of racist, called Somerset. And I was talking to a guy today. I said Somerset. He's like, oh, yeah, that's real racist, man, because he knows. He knows black folks drive through Somerset. They don't get out of the car, okay? But everything from the little cab lady that felt that she could deny me a ride to the campground because I was black. She did it anyway. All the way to the bikers out there who were definitely racist. To some of the neighbors out there who don't do nothing but drink, abuse their wives, and then blame everything on black people. Okay? I loved Somerset. And I understand from having friends, meeting my white friends in Somerset, and I understand from Job Corps, and I understand from all the different churches that I've worshiped with that were predominantly white or mixed churches where the pastor was, the white pastor was leading the mixed church or whatever. Okay? I've learned the side of white people that black people keep covering up. And I'm sick of that too. I'm sick and tired of black people sitting there all cool with white people because these white people giving them something. These white people, defending their case. They're helping them out, doing things for them, waiting on them hand and foot and all that. And then when they step away from them, then they go back to talking that race card crap. All white people are racist. All cops are racist. Wait a minute. Didn't the cop just pull you over for having a bad inspection sticker? He didn't shoot you. He didn't snap at you or raise your voice. I was standing right there watching. He let you do all the talking. And then he said, well, sir, you want to get that inspection sticker fixed. Okay? You want to get that done right away. Have a nice day, sir. My first time driving, I drove from Hazleton, Pennsylvania, all the way to downtown Pittsburgh in a snow blizzard. Cop in Du Bois, which is supposed to be a very racist town. Okay? Cops in Du Bois, PA. Old man pulled me over. He saved me from driving my car onto the train tracks while he's telling me that my car is on the tracks, back up. Okay? Because if you go down further, there's another set of tracks. And there's not enough room between the two tracks, okay, for you to be out here on this ice. And then if you look, there's a cliff in front of you. There's no reason for you to be back here, sir. So I backed up off the tracks. And as soon as I backed up off the tracks, the things come down. I didn't even see them. Things came down. The red lights went on. Here come the train. And I just looked at that white cop like, man, I got to be the stupidest thing in black skin I've met in a long time. He didn't give me a warning. He didn't give me a ticket. He didn't give me nothing. He saved my life. Because I was busy joyriding in my new car. just got my driver's license, I was off the hook. I got pulled over 3 times in a 10-hour period. I got pulled over 3 times in 3 different neighborhoods, which were predominantly white. Trying to get to Pittsburgh. This is my first time behind the wheel. I'm driving like a maniac. Everybody taking their sweet time in the snow. I'm flying. I'm hot rodding. You know, back at that time when I first started driving, if I slid on some ice, that was all fun and games to me. Now I'm really scared of that after being in a few accidents. But, you know, back then I didn't care. I got pulled over 3 times by 3 white cops in a 10-hour period. 3 times. Not once did anybody arrest me, shoot me, give me a ticket. They didn't even give me a warning, or they warned me verbally, but they didn't make me sign anything. They didn't, they didn't act like, this white cop's having mercy on you. They were very nice to me. Then I got home to New Kensington, Pennsylvania, and the cop told me about my black A. Yeah, he said black ass. That's what he said to me. He said, you take your black ass off these streets and you go home. And I don't want to see your black ass out here again. Now, to a lot of y'all be rioting over that statement. But I didn't get a ticket. And I was clearly in the wrong. I was going 80 miles in a residential area. Everybody's in the house sleeping, and I'm boom, hot rodding through the neighborhood. And the cop was out there, you know what I mean? He ain't had to chase nobody in a while, and he, boom. And I forget whether that was the next day or the same day. If it's the same day, I got pulled over 4 times in a 10-hour. It took me 10 hours to get to Pittsburgh, and then I went up to New Kensington where I lived at the time, where I was supposed to move back in at the time. I moved back in up there, and I moved in with my friend Joey at the time. I didn't have my own place, but he knew I was coming. I don't think it was that day. I think it was the next day, because I had to get into Pittsburgh in time to meet with Joey. And Joey told me to call him if I got lost, but I was having too much fun. But I didn't get in. I got into Pittsburgh at like 2 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, these 4 cops just wanted to make sure I wasn't drunk. If I had been on alcohol, they would have arrested me. But they could tell I wasn't drunk, I wasn't high, I was just a youngster acting a fool. A black youngster acting a fool. Now, when the black cop pulled me over, the couple that I hit, I did a 380 and hit their car and busted the front end of their car, the headlight and the area around the headlight, the whole chassis there. I destroyed it. Guy came over to my friend Joey's house. Joey pulled me out of hiding. These were good Christian people. And after we agreed on, what I was going to pay, then we sat there and started talking about the Lord. But they charged me $500. I had $1,500 to blow. They charged me $500 for that insurance. They said, hey man, I was going to buy my wife a new car anyway. We're tired of this car. We're going to use the insurance money and get her something better. Our insurance is going to pay so much. If you can help us out with $500, that'd be so nice of you. And they sat in my friend Joey's black. They sat in our living room and said this and did this. They were not afraid of us. They were not afraid of New Kensington. They were not afraid of black folks. You know. Now, the difference between me and Jesse Lee Peterson is I do believe in racism. I do believe that every day out of my life, you know, I'm running into racism. But this is the difference between racism and racial stereotypes. Racism is when you control people and you keep people from being anywhere because you don't want their race. You figure by holding their race back, that's one race you ain't got to worry about overcoming your race, or them being on the top and your race being on the bottom, or whatever. That's racism. Racism is what you do. It's your control over people. Who controls people more? The Republicans or the Democrats? I think the Democrats, if we be honest. Okay? So that would be the more racist group because they're controlling you. They're controlling you, how you vote, and how you live by lying to you about free stuff. Ain't nothing for free. Okay? But racism is what you do. Racial stereotypes is the scruples that you have, the fears that you have over different races of people. And without knowing, you judge and criticize ignorantly without knowing. One form of ignorance is for a white person to wear a Black Lives Matter mask or hat or t-shirt or post Black Lives Matter on his window or whatever because of the riots and all this stuff out of fear, and he doesn't even understand what Black Lives Matter is. Black Lives Matter is not only a hate group that admits that they're a Marxist group, or Marxist, how you pronounce that word. They admit that they don't like white people. They admit that they want control. And then on top of it all, they practice divination. They practice, it's a religion. It's Satanism. They practice divination, spiritism, witchcraft. This is how these feminist women control Black Lives Matter. The information is right here on YouTube. I might look for it and put it in a description. But anyway, I'm going to do a part 2 of this. But I'm not in the black community. A long time ago when I was a youngster and I had to be dropped off back in the ghetto by my white friends. And then my black friends, these white people would feed us and bring us stuff and take us places and do stuff. And then my black friends would come to me in church, and say, hey man, this is where I was done with the black community right here. Hey man, you think you white? Why are you hanging out with him so much? Well, wait a minute. What are we doing? What are we doing when I'm not hanging out with him? I'm coming over your house. You coming over my house. And we ain't going nowhere doing nothing with ourselves. We ain't making no money. We ain't working. We ain't doing anything productive. We ain't even taking a pencil and drawing a daggone picture. We ain't doing nothing. The most I might do to really, really crack an egg is to impregnate your sister, man. Rolling around on a bunk bed with her. We ain't doing nothing. You want to ask me a stupid question like that? There ain't nothing for us to do but have babies out of wedlock up in this joint. But my white friend taking me all over to these neighborhoods. He got me doing something that's productive, like singing. He taking me out there to these different neighborhoods, and I'm out there with these bluegrass people singing. And these bluegrass people knew how to play music that wasn't bluegrass. Why am I not surprised? And these people loved me. They invited me into their home. They served me. Leroy Cruz, your life applications officer. As we head into a new election, get out of that black community. Get out of the black community. Get out of the Democratic Party. Get out of slavery. And I made up my mind a long time ago that I'm done with it. And so, out of all the arguments I've been having for the last 2 days, the one thing that I'm not saying that I need to say is please stop talking to me like I'm in the black community, because I'm not. I don't really care about these people getting shot. Who are they? I don't know these people. I ain't crazy enough to come at no cop with a knife. So why do I care if this black man got shot? He ain't my brother. He ain't ever did nothing for me. Why do I care if you know, you're not getting an education? I dropped out of college. Okay? Not because the white man had me drop out, but because I was working 16 hours a day. I put money over college. Belly being I was putting myself through college. My mama wasn't putting me through there. She was dead. Everything in my life is my choice. Nobody makes these decisions but me. Ain't no white man depriving me of nothing for me to make crazy decisions. If I'm lacking somewhere, it's because I choose not to do the homework. It ain't got nothing to do with the white man. But when you blame the white man, and the white man can never do enough for you. He can never say, I'm sorry enough times. He can never, ever get himself out of this. And who we talking to? His granddaughter? His son? His grandson? But he can never get himself out of this. D. Recruit, your life applications officer, signing off. Part 2 coming up.